We are live. Okay. Well, turn everything on that broke. Okay, what is going on? Okay, testing the sound. Sorry guys, what a technical morning. Be perfectly honest, technology is not my strongest point. But I did problem solve it. Figured it out. We're there. Okay, we're live. Hi guys, welcome to the Traders Journal. We're a bit late today, but better late than never. All that work, I've also lost my voice. Okay, let me reset. Drink some coffee. Now, I'm super excited that we're actually able to do unmute. Okay, it looks like it's all working now, so I don't know if I was on mute before. Okay. Let's kick off because I'm actually really happy that I could get this sorted because I'm quite excited about the session today. We are talking about trading success, how to be successful, because here's the thing. Sometimes we think of all the little things we have to do. There's just so much to put together to achieve your goals that it's overwhelming. It's just too much. We don't know what to do. We're trying to do everything, and then you're spinning your wheels. You're not really getting ahead. So today's session is really high level. If you can focus on these three things, if these three things are constantly in your mind and you're reminding yourself, do this, do this, do this, it actually helps all those little miniature, tiny little behaviors, tiny little things you need to do. And it allows you to actually make progress because you don't have to think about 100 things. You just have to think about 3 things, and they will lead to that. Again, not overnight changes, but this is really actually a very cool framework to use. And it's called the 3 Ps, and we're going to get into that. If you do these 3, if you focus on these 3 and you become even good enough at all of them, you will be successful. It just works like that. This is all scientific. It's all based on the science of the mind, the science of psychology, and how we behave. As you know, I'm like, it is 90%, even more than 90% psychology and mindset that is keeping you from becoming a consistent, profitable trader. And I'm going to, before we get into the 3 key secrets that you need, I'm going to tell you a story quickly because I want you to understand what psychology and mindset actually is. And a lot of people, I think traders, now remember, a lot of traders fail. The rates are very high, like 95%, because a lot of traders talk about mindset. They talk about psychology. They're like, I need better mindset, better psychology. But there's a few things here. One is they say it, but they don't really believe it. So they continue to only focus on the charts, on their strategies. Secondly, they might believe that it is mindset and psychology, but they don't really understand what to do. Like, where do you start? What is it? What is psychology? Because it seems like a really big thing to kind of get into and fix ourselves. Psychology is just your behavior in certain situations. Now, you can get clinical psychology where there is actually something clinically wrong with you. We're not talking about that kind of psychology. That is, psychosis, just kind of what we'd call, I wouldn't say diseases, but conditions of the mind, where you need to go and see a proper psychologist. I think sometimes it's, bipolar conditions, things like that, actual clinical conditions. This is not the psychology we're talking about, okay? That is a standalone thing. If you need to see a psychologist for those things, do it. But this is, we call it more individual or social psychology. It's your behavior under certain situations. We all behave differently under certain situations. And the situation we're talking about here is pressure. How do we behave under pressure? Everyone behaves differently. Some people become very fearful, quiet. They actually can't move. It's fight or flight. They're in flight. They're completely just cannot do anything. And some people go straight into fight. Their anger is triggered really easily. Now, it's these behaviors, and anger leads to revenge trading. Fear leads to just not taking your trades, the inability to take action. Then you've got FOMO, which is kind of an in-between. You're bouncing between the two states. So you're taking FOMO trades. This is the behavior that we display under a situation, which is the pressure of trading. Okay. Now, that's all we're talking about. We're not trying to necessarily fix anything. We're trying to understand how we behave and why we behave like that, and how can we help ourselves to behave in a different way, because you can do it. Okay, so before I get into these 3 secrets that are going to make you successful at trading, I want to tell you a story. And while I'm clicking everything is live and good and we're all happy, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to our channel yet. While you're there, hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when we have webinars for you. And I just want to remind you that today's session is such a great platform to jump into 2026. Just make 2026 the year that you become profitable, you become consistent, you become successful at trading. Okay, we're just committing today, right now, while I'm doing my technical checks. There you have it, you've committed. So step 1 done. Okay, I want to tell you a story. In 1978, a flight took off from JFK Airport. Now, this story is related to mindset and psychology, and I want you to listen to the story so that you understand because this is, you can just take the situation from an aeroplane to your trading desk. It's the same thing that happens to us, and this is how we are affected. Our psychology is affected in a certain situation. Now, the psychology, remember, is how you behave, and the situation is under pressure. Trading is a pressure situation. Just those are the 2 kind of facts. In 1978, United Airlines 173 took off from JFK. It was going to Portland, and it had a quick stop in Denver to refuel. It was a beautiful day. The conditions were perfect. The captain was 52 years old. He had 25 years flying experience. He was a veteran of World War II, loads of experience. The first officer had 13 years experience, 5,000 flying hours. The flight engineer had 3,900 hours of experience. So a very experienced crew. It was a very standard flight. There were no weather conditions. Okay. It took off at 2:47 that afternoon from Denver after a quick refuel, and it flew to Portland to land roughly about 5 o'clock. As they came in to start descending into Portland, a light went off in the cockpit, and it said that the landing gear was not down. And the crew started going through checklists and trying to figure out what was wrong with the landing gear. And after a few minutes, the captain radioed the air control and said, look, we need to just do some go-arounds because we've got this situation and we just need to make sure that the landing gear is down. This wasn't an emergency. It was just kind of pretty standard. Not that standard, but this is, no one was panicked. It was just, we're just going to check out why this landing gear is not down and get it down. They went into this holding pattern near Portland. They're already by the airport. They're over the city and they're going round in laps. And the captain, this experienced captain, starts focusing on this landing gear button. And he is problem solving it. And he phones the aerostess in the back and says, can you just have a look? There's a little, when the landing gear is down, there's a little, not flag, but something goes up on the wings and you can confirm it's like that. I think she couldn't see it. And the captain kept, no, I think she could see it, but the light was still off. And the captain was just concerned that he doesn't want to take a chance and go into land without landing gear. So he was trying to figure out, why is this light not going off? If everything else is telling us the landing gear is down, I'm not sure the landing gear is down. He kept repeating that he needs to be sure. He wants to be sure. He doesn't want to go in and risk, people's lives. And they were going around in a circle. And after a certain amount of time, the flight engineer said to the captain, we're starting to get low on petrol, on fuel here. And the captain because they've got voice recording boxes, they can listen to all of this. The captain didn't really acknowledge it. He said something like, what? And then carried on. He was fixated on this light. And it went on and on and on. And the first officer also tried to say something. Remember, these are in the days when the captain was the boss. He had all this experience. He was a guy from World War II, decorated. And although they wanted to get his attention, they also didn't want to say, listen, buddy, we're running low on fuel here. So they just voiced it a few times. But the captain, it wasn't clear that he was either, he didn't acknowledge them outright, or he didn't say, okay, yes, I agree. He just ignored it. And they flew around. And suddenly the flight engineer was like, we are now at critical, we're out of fuel. The one engine faded, and soon after that, the other engine faded, and they were 8 miles short of the runway. They now, whether they had landing gear or not, they were now going to crash. They were now looking for a place to put this plane down. The captain did a great job. He actually found the best spot because they're over all these houses in Portland, and they did crash. A lot of people survived, a lot of people died. What happened when the captain actually survived, the flight engineer died. The captain had a broken leg, I think, and he was in hospital, and he was interviewed really quickly because the airline industry goes and investigates these things. And they were like, what happened? As it turns out, the landing gear was down. It was a fault with the light. And the captain said to them, listen, there was a leak in the fuel because that fuel ran out so quickly. And they were like, okay. So they go off to investigate. And what they found was a shocking discovery, but it's also a discovery that has saved many, many lives in the airline industry. What they found was that there was nothing wrong with the fuel. There was nothing wrong with the landing gear except for the light. They also found that actually you can land without landing gear. It's obviously not preferred, but you can land without landing gear with no fatalities. It's dangerous. It could not work out. Your plane could break apart, but they've got procedures. They can actually do it. Okay. If you run out of fuel and you don't make the runway, you are crashing. So the two choices there is make it to the runway and just land without landing gear, or have no fuel and crash into possibly houses. So they had to investigate, why did the captain get into this situation from a landing gear issue, which was actually just a light, and even if it was the landing gear, you can have a crash landing that is a controlled one that could actually come out with some injuries but no fatalities. It's possible, very possible. It's actually got a very high success rate. And they checked out his timeline of this fuel running out so quickly, and there was no fuel leak. The captain had actually spent so incredibly long going around in circles trying to figure out why this light, he had lost all perception of time. Time for him, he thought, was a few minutes, and it had actually been a very long time, enough time to completely run out of fuel, 8 miles short of the runway. And what they have discovered, and they've fixed this in the airline industry, is that there is a resource that is very short of supply, and that is attention. Human psychology, in a pressurized situation, your attention span it evaporates, and you become fixated on certain things. So when we are trading and you're fixated on this trade must work out, FOMO trading. You're fixated on, I just don't trust this, I just don't trust this. You're fixated on, I must get this money back. You can't then properly process all the other bits of information. There's too much. And your behavior, it's very normal to not be able to manage all of that information and make the right decisions. And that is why FOMO, fear, and revenge trading can just override you. Now, I want to just take your mind back to the flight. So because this is now, people had to die to get this information. They've since changed the way pilots work. They've got a thing called crew resource management. It's specifically because they know that one person can only deal with one thing. It's under pressure, you cannot think normally, and that's why they train pilots to have this two-way conversation, this checking in, checking. So years later, you've got the guy who landed on the Hudson, and when you look at the way those two pilots interacted, one took control of the flight, and the other one was just feeding him data and going through checklists, giving him information, and he was responding to every piece. Every time it's like, flaps are down, he'd be flaps are down. And they kept going, do you have any ideas? Do you have any ideas? The communication. Now, as a trader, you don't have that someone to communicate to like that. But you can have checklists. You can have your own, think of it as crew resource management, because you have to manage your very fragile psychology, behavior under pressure. This captain, now, don't take that as a slight. Don't be like, oh, I can't do all of this stuff. This captain was very experienced. He had 25 years of flying experience. He had flown in a freaking war. This is human psychology. This is how it works. And this is not the only incident in the airline industry. We get our incidents from the airline industry because they're the only industry that within moments of something happening, a team is out there investigating, and they're very open and transparent about what caused what, and they share that information to all the airlines, all the countries, everyone. They learn and they fix, they learn and they fix. So as traders, we don't share this information with each other. So we have to go to a parallel industry and go, how does psychology read behavior? How does psychology work under pressure? This is how it works. Now, I want you to just realize this, how powerful this is. This isn't a captain that was reckless or just wanted to do his own thing. He's also in that aeroplane. If they run out of fuel, if he doesn't bring that aeroplane down safely, he's also possibly going to die. His psychology, so his behavior under pressure of being so fixated on one thing that he completely lost track of time and therefore how much fuel they had. It's not like he ignored, like, oh, I don't care that we don't have fuel. He just didn't believe it, because he was like, I couldn't have been spending this much. He lost all perception of anything around him other than that light. His own life was in danger. This is how powerful this behavior is. And if you don't think that this is how it's affecting you at your trading desk, now we don't have a flight full of passengers behind us. We also are not in an aeroplane where we could kill ourselves. Okay, we are sitting at a desk, possibly going to lose money. That's the pressure we're under. But our bodies respond in the same way, because this is all, we're not designed for any of this. We're not designed for airplanes. We're not designed for trading. We're designed to live in caves and look after ourselves. All of this behavior comes from that instinct, and that instinct is so strong to try and save us. Now imagine a bear comes into the cave. Do you think it's helpful to be completely fixated on that bear and sorting that bear out? Yes, that's going to save you. They're not like, sort that bear out, check that the cave is lighted correctly, check that your footing on this rock and that rock and da-da-da-da. It's not like that. It's just bear sorted. That's how we're designed. So we can't fight biology. And for 2026, I want you to start taking your behavior super, super, super seriously, because this is how it affects us. This is what we're up against. Okay, you're not reckless because you want to be. It seems like you're being reckless with FOMO trading, and therefore you blame yourself. You're like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. It's not you. It's human. You're a human. Okay? That industry didn't blame that captain and go, well, what a loser. He crashed the plane. They went, we've got an issue here because this is a human situation that we haven't managed. So from that crash, people dying, they implemented crew resource management. It's steps and processes and operations and manuals that help crews to overcome the limitations of psychology under pressure. And they've saved so many flights because of this. And that's why that guy on the Hudson, years and years and years later, could land it. 30 years later, he landed a plane on the Hudson. That could have gone very badly if they hadn't fixed this, if they had just blamed the captain. So I want you to, for 2026, start taking minds and psychology seriously. Focus on it. Become obsessed with it. Become as obsessed with it as I am. But stop blaming yourself, okay? It's not you. It's just human. Okay. Now, have I said everything I want to say about this story? I think I have. I'm probably going to refer to it because now we're going to go into our 3 high-level secrets, okay? Remember, this story also paints the picture of you cannot focus on so many things. This is why when you're like, I need to do this and I need to do this, and your list of improvement is this long and you improve nothing, it's because you just cannot, like, we need to stop thinking about being able to multitask. We cannot multitask as humans. It's just silly. It's a stupid invention from employers trying to get more out of you. Doesn't work. I can't multitask to save my life. If I'm thinking of something, I cannot have a conversation with someone else. And that's fine. I'm human. That's how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be able to multitask. Okay. So these 3 secrets are purposefully high level. Okay. They're high level and they're the 3 P's. They're easy to remember. You can put like P, P, P. And when you're feeling anything like, you can just refer to those. Am I this? Am I this? Am I this? Okay. And then at that high level, they're easier to fix because you can just be like, no, I'm not doing that. Focus on fixing that. But let's go through them. Okay. The 3 P's. The first one is passion. you must have passion for trading. And passion, I found the word passion. I could have used other words for this one. But I think passion embodies the positivity and the excitement and the happiness you should be feeling. Okay, you should be feeling positive feelings and emotions, not negative. Okay, revenge trading, FOMO, and fear trading or not trading are all negative emotions. Now remember, thoughts create feelings, create actions, and we now must have positive thoughts. And passion is just if you're like, am I feeling the passion for this? And you're not. If you're just feeling like, I hate myself, I'm doing everything bad, I'm the worst trader ever, and you check your little P, your first P, and go, am I feeling the passion? You can very easily say, no, I'm not. Go and find it. Why do you love trading? Okay, it's got to be beyond the money. Money is great, but what else can you have? Is it the freedom to go and do something? Is it the freedom to choose when you work? Is the freedom to not have a boss that's picking on you all day long? Is it that you want to spend more time with certain people doing certain things? What's your real reason beyond money? Okay, because the idea of money will only make you happy for a little bit, then you're going to run out of that. Okay, you need the passion for trading. Is it the challenge you love? What's the enjoyment of it? What do you love about trading? And if you're not finding it in trading that day, find it in other things. Okay, I've got a bunch of things I love, but one thing I do love, and it's right here next to me, is my guitar. I play the guitar, and it's such a quick way for me to just feel joy. It's got nothing to do with trading. It's just about finding the joy. Okay, now the joy in life, the joy in you, because the happier you are, the better you're going to trade. Now this is going to tie into the other two P's, but believe me, when you are happy, you will have happy thoughts, you will have happy emotions, and then you will have positive behaviors. That's why we're doing this. Okay. That's why passion is on there. Now, the second one is going to be explain better why passion is on, because you're probably like, why would you choose that? There's so many things to choose, but I've created this framework from all the detailed work I do with clients, with psychology, with mindset. And these are the three building blocks for it, okay? And the reason passion is in there is because of number two. So number two is purpose. Now, purpose is the second secret. Purpose exists at all levels, all levels. It starts at the level of you, your purpose. Why are you trading? Why are you even doing this? Okay. And then there's an even higher purpose that we won't go into in this specific video, but you need to be finding your purpose in life. Everything needs purpose because it drives energy. It drives everything. Everything to do with success will ultimately come from purpose. But as I said, this is at all levels, okay? So you want your purpose of why you're trading. Work on that often. But everything, purpose, purpose, purpose. Why are you showing up at this time to trade? Why are you taking this trade? Why are you writing this journal? Why are you doing this record? Why? Purpose, purpose, purpose. Everything must have a reason. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. You're being, what? You're wasting your time, but you're also exposing yourself to the big risk here, okay? What is the big risk? The big risk, and it ties into the United 173 story, the big risk here is that you are just going on autopilot, like that captain who was, without realizing it, fixated on one button, a light and a button. I think the fuse had blown. If you don't have purpose for everything you are doing, a reason for turning up to trade now. Why are you trading now? Why are you checking the chart now? Is it to check that a certain level has been breached and therefore you'll move to break even. Is what's the purpose? Everything needs purpose so that you are not on autopilot, because autopilot exposes you to that risk. Okay, these things play into our own, let's call it crew resource management. We can call it trader resource management. We have to manage ourselves. So everything you do needs purpose, from the time you wake up, the amount of time you sleep, going to bed now. You should be, oh, should I go to bed? Shouldn't I? Well, why would you go to bed now? Because you want to wake up at that time and you want 8 hours sleep. You also start to take all of those things just happening to you by having purpose in everything you do. You can take holidays where you just do run on autopilot and relax. Okay, your trading day is not when you're relaxing. Everything needs purpose, and when you have purpose in everything you're doing, it also takes away this, oh, everything's just happening to me. The market is just taking my stop loss. I didn't sleep well. You didn't sleep well because you didn't allow yourself to sleep well. What can you do? Everything is actually in your control. What can you do to improve your sleep? What can you do to improve your trading? What can you do to improve your energy, your feelings, your moods? And purpose is also why we have passion as the number one. There's a reason we have passion as number one, because we need positive feelings, positive thoughts, positive emotions, and then we have positive behavior. Okay, so we have passion and purpose in everything you do. So when you're trading today or tomorrow, have a think while you're doing anything you're doing. Why am I doing this? Why? How does it tie into your rules? How does it tie into, you start like listening or living by these 3 P's. Maybe the first day it's a little bit, not normal. After 3 months and you're living by these 3 P's, it will change your behavior in a very positive way. Okay, so number one, we've got passion. Number 2, purpose. Everything needs a purpose. And then that leads us very nicely into number 3, which is precision. As traders, when we are trading, we need precision. We need to anticipate, when this and this, then I will, because my rules, and you're waiting for it. When it happens, boom, precision. Where will the stop loss go? I check my rules, precision. Boom. Nothing is just go by the feel, go by the seat of your pants, fly by the seat of your pants. Everything is like a sniper, precision. And if you have in your mind, if you're trading and you're like, things aren't feeling great, you can just be like, do I feel passionate? Not so much. Do I have purpose? Do I know why I'm doing what I'm doing? No, I've kind of lost the plot here. Am I operating with precision? No, I'm really not. Okay, let me pause. Let me pause and just reset. And you can go do your journaling or your meditation, maybe go for a walk, and you just get yourself back into control. We've got the beauty for us. This is our biggest strength, is we can close the computer, and I keep reaching here because here is my trading computer. I have a different computer for trading. We can close the computer and walk away and go and reset. The pilots don't have that beauty. They don't have that luxury. They're in a plane that is going very fast, and there is a timeline between them landing this thing safely and them crashing. We can walk away. We've got tools we can use, but we have the underlying condition that the pilots also have, and that is human behavior, also called human psychology under pressure. The way we behave under pressure is the same, but we can close our computers and walk away. So keep these 3Ps next to your computer. Keep referring to them because they're easy. Am I feeling passionate? Am I working with purpose? Am I working with precision? If any of them are no, just close your computer and go and do something. Play the guitar. Go and do something that makes you happy. Do some meditation. Do some journaling. Maybe even stop trading for the day. Show up tomorrow with your 3Ps intact. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for being patient with the start time today. I'm just very excited to share this with you. The stuff works, and I'm just checking if there's any comments that I need. I love all the emojis. Thank you. Okay, very cool. Look, the stuff works. 100% works. If you want to learn more about human psychology under pressure, go and watch Air Crash Investigation. They've learned amazing things about how humans behave. Some things will shock you, where you just, I can't believe that we would do that. I mean, an experienced captain crashing his plane because he ran out of fuel with a perfectly good aeroplane. It's shocking, but it's also that's that's just how it is. That's how we are. Those are our limitations as humans, and we're trying to do something we're not made for, which is trading. But we're also not made to fly airplanes, and they do that very, very, very successfully. So if you start applying the right tools, the right frameworks, the right exercises, you start working on this stuff, you can become a very, very competent, consistent trader. Now, if you want to do coaching with me, reach out to Gerald below, inquire about it, do the application, see if it's right for you. These are the things we work on in detail. Within 6 months, you can be successful at trading, can be consistent when you sort the stuff out. But it's very hidden, it's not obvious. I would never imagine an experienced pilot would accidentally run out of fuel because he wasn't concentrating. But these are the secrets of psychology and mindset that we have to unpack within ourselves and then just find a way to manage them. And you can manage them. These are not conditions that you have that you can't overcome. It's just that you don't know about these things yet. You don't understand them completely yet. And that's what we sort out through coaching. So guys, have a great week. I hope your trading is going well, and start planning your goals and your achievement you want for next year. We move on to 2026 with positivity. So I'll see you next week.